Hi, Stella.
Hi.
We are live talking about hands-on adjustments. And this is going to be a practice with a partner. So you need a teammate with you. You guys got one? Yes, perfect. Then we should start,
Yeah.
by, grounding in. Both of us grounding in here. You got something to say?
No, absolutely. Grounding in. Before we do hands-on adjustments, we always want to make sure that we're polarizing and neutralizing ourselves so that we are coming into a safe place. And how about today, since we have a partner, do you want to do back-to-back some breathing?
Yeah.
So we're going to have you take your partner and you're going to sit back-to-back with them, sitting up tall. Getting comfortable. Now we're gonna look at the camera and then what's great about this is that you can really start to feel how you and your partner work together. Yeah, sometimes one person leans one way more than the other way. That's totally okay. That's just how life is. It's about just acknowledging and becoming aware of your own energy and your own breath, and how that synchronicity lines up with your partner. So taking a few big breaths. You may or may not be breathing at the same rate and time as your partner. It's about being aware of your partner's breath. And coming into that energetic field. This is always a good exercise for connection. And you'll notice and become aware of when you and your partner have actually really connected. And sometimes it takes a little bit. Let all the guards down and to soften into this place. And when you feel complete, you'll know. And you'll feel anchored in. And then we can release.
Such a good reminder that I'm supported. We're in this together.
Feel complete?
I feel complete. I feel connected.
I feel connected. Okay.
I think a good thing to remember when we are touching bodies, working with bodies, is to remember that as a yoga teacher, as a healer, you are connected to universal life force. And slowing down and remembering that connection of this infinite, pure potential that exists within all of us. It's the grounding into it. Complete. Grounded.
We want to start.
Sacrum press first?
Yeah.
It's always a good place.
Yeah. So, today we want to show where it's applicable to do these hands-on adjustments, like in an actual, like pieces of class, right?
Mhm.
Or like where that would come into play. So, sacrum press.
So decide who's going to be the giver, who's going to be the receiver. You want to be the receiver?
Sure.
Okay. I'll be the giver first.
I'll give it. I'm the giver.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So, child's pose. Let's say at the beginning of class, this is a position sometimes we'll start in. And as the giver, right, before I touch the body, I want to make sure my body is in a good position where I feel solid, so I can be in a lunge, or sometimes a low lunge is good here. Sometimes kneeling and using, absolutely use a blanket under your knees if you need to. And so getting yourself in a position where you feel.
No, yeah, just move up a little bit. So close to the sofa. Okay.
And taking a breath, and as you approach the body, we're going to go to the sacrum, which is the hard part, and the part of the spine that attaches into the hips, right? And I'm going to take a breath, and I like to put the heel of my hand, I kind of point my fingers back, because this is the angle at which I'm going to want to kind of press down, and I bring my hand, and my arm stays straight. Just kind of lean into it. Now, all bodies are different. Your hand is different than my hand. Stella's body might be different than the body that you're working with. So sometimes you might decide, okay, you know what? Actually, what would fit better here is two hands. And I tend to go for the fingers pointing back. And all I'm doing, I'm keeping my arms straight and I'm just leaning. So I'm not pressing by muscling through it. Think about your core. Take a big breath. And as you exhale, and watch their breath. As they inhale, you might lessen the pressure a little bit. And as they exhale, you might lean in. So with the sacrum press, right, the energy, we're going down, away from the head, because that's the way we want the spine to lengthen.
Now both of your hands, I can't exactly see on Stella where your hand is. Is it? Are they together?
Well, it depends on the body you're touching.
Okay.
So Stella, I feel like for me, it kind of separated. That kind of feels.
Okay, I see.
Mm-hmm. And just watch your shoulders, shoulders down. You want to be in a relaxed, centered space, right? I'm not doing this. I'm not trying to solve any problems right now. I'm just a little assist. It's a assist. And I'm being mindful that if she had tight ankles or her feet were really tight, right, and I was pushing, that might not feel really good for me to push hard. If, let's just say, I'm being aware of what's happening underneath as I guide her tailbone down. So if that was the case, maybe I'm just touching. I don't even lean.
Okay.
And I could add another hand, maybe the back of her heart. And that might be something where you want to be in a standing position. Your back is straight. So my arms I'm not muscling. It's more of a lean.
Okay.
And I find it helpful sometimes when I'm giving hands-on adjustments, I want to stay strong into my legs and into my center, my hara. And it really doesn't have to be any more complicated. It's maybe some brushes here. especially like at the beginning of a yoga practice, right? Do some feel goods. Like you have arrived. There you go. Nice. Yeah, and if they're flexible and they're really, you can really kind of, so I put my hands on her sacrum here because I know Stella's flexible, and I just bend my knees and just, does that feel okay?
Yeah.
And you can always ask them, right? I can always be like, is that all right? Does that feel okay?
Yeah, it does.
There you go. The feedback, feedback is good. That's always a good place to start. The sacrum press.
So do you like it better with one hand or two hands?
Yeah, perfect. And asking, like, that was a perfect question, Melinda. One hand, two hand, what feels better? Because as you're starting to give hands-on adjustments. Yeah. Because then you get that feedback of like, oh no, that felt really good. And you could do a shoulder blade, right? You could do a hand on the sacrum on the right side. My hand's over here on the right side of her sacrum. And then my left hand's going to slide towards her left shoulder blade. And I don't want to smash her face down, right? But I want to think about my arms. Yeah, I just want to be mindful that I'm just creating a little bit of space. I'm not putting a lot of weight. I tend to keep more weight into the hip side, not so much into the shoulders. And then I would do the other diagonal line. And I'm moving my body, I'm adjusting my body as I move my hands so that my back is straight, my shoulders are back, I'm connected to my core. I'm breathing. I'm watching her breath. And then sometimes I just like to massage them. It depends who the person is, how much but I'm like, oh, I felt like her arm was tight, so I thought she could use a little squishes down her arm. Oh, and then some, you make nice. There you go. Nice, Melinda. And so how you enter into their space and how you leave are important, right? So as I leave, I don't want to just like push and then, okay, I'm done. Right? I'm like, so that, however you want to do that, just letting her know, okay, that's it. And then I can step away. Nice, Melinda. How'd that feel?
Awesome.
Stepping away.
You want to do down dog?
Yeah.
What would be the transition?
Yeah, we'll do the down dog and then I was thinking Shavasana.
Yeah.
Is that?
It is, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
Sorry. So let's say, yeah, it feels good, right? It feels so, like having a hand on the body just feels amazing. So let's say now we went from child's pose, and let's say in a yoga practice, right? Down dog would be the next transition. Okay, so let's do our down dog adjustments.
You want to do it? Or you want to switch, or you fine?
With this. I want to keep this here.
You do the next one. I'll do this one. Right. So in down dog, let's see.
Can you see me okay? You could. Should I make it a little?
Yeah, I can see you good.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I let them get into it. Another thing is when they get into their pose, I don't want to go over right away. I'm going to let them explore. I'm cueing them through things. Let them find their way first. I don't want to jump right in. Let them have their experience. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to be here a couple more breaths. We could do our sacrum press again. So making sure my body is set up, whether I want to be in more of like a warrior one stance here, and I can use two hands or one hand. And I'm pushing up, right? Because I'm guiding the energy up. I could use 2 hands. And I know Stella's flexible, so oftentimes I'll give myself my own stretch. I'm in like half dog. They don't know, they're in down, they can't see me, but I'm actually stretching while I'm assisting them. But I'm making sure my feet stay grounded.
So you're in a wide leg stance, right?
Oh yeah, my legs are wide. I started in like a warrior 1 stance. Then I went into more of like a straddle. That's beautiful, Melinda. Because I'm not trying to muscle. Again, I'm moving from a strong center. My back is straight. My shoulders are back. I'm pushing from my feet. I'm drawing the energy from my feet. Yeah. And then as you leave this one, you want to leave slowly. I was pushing them up and back. I want to make sure that I exit nicely. Another thing I like to do just as an adjustment, just to cue people to wrap their shoulder blades, I always just do a little brush. I'm not pushing, just to remind them, wrap, wrap.
Wrap.
Yeah.
The break.
It's just a good reminder, and all of a sudden, our shoulders are a thing. Shoulders are a thing. How you doing, Rob? You okay?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. So that's my favorite. That's for down dog. That's my favorite. Another way we could do down dog is I put one of my legs between their legs and I find their hip creases. And then this is more of a pulling. I just bend my knees and lean back. And you can adjust your legs however you need to.
Oh, he likes that.
Grabbing onto her hip bones. You got to find their hip bones. And then I just lean. When I'm breathing. Nice, Melinda. And careful as you come out of that. And then you can cue them into their child's pose. How'd you feel about that, Melinda?
I think that went well.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Asking people permission because it does get kind of personal.
It does. So someone that I didn't necessarily know too well, I probably wouldn't do the one behind.
Yes.
Right? That one I'll leave for, people where I have that kind of relationship. Absolutely.
Right. That's how we say, the key word these days is trauma informed, right? And staying just aware of who we're working with and how we're working with them. If you have an intimate relationship with that person or that student and they know you're giving adjustments, it's not weird.
Right.
Right. So that's also about like how you introduce it in the beginning or how you're introducing that you are touching people that day.
Yes.
Right. Because if you were teaching a group class, you've already informed them.
Right. Establish
that I like to give hands-on adjustments sometimes if this is something that you're not comfortable with, giving them the opportunity to opt out if they don't want to be touched that day, right? That's number one.
So,
and in this like one-on-one, in a one-on-one setting, it's really nice, that's a little different. But.
So Rob said he liked the pull back one better.
Yeah, we do like it better because it's the way that it lifts the weight. Yeah, it's the way that it changes the weight.
Yeah.
Yep.
You felt it lengthening.
Yeah, it lengthens the spine for sure. It takes all the pressure out of the spine.
Yeah, it truly is something like that. It's like the adjustment is Rob feeling you pulling him. He's like, oh, that's how it's supposed to feel, right? And so and it's true. It's like the hands-on adjustment. All of a sudden, they start to they're like, oh. That's why the hands-on adjustments are so beneficial.
Yes.
Shavasana?
Yeah.
Ready for some Shavasana adjustments?
Sure.
I'm gonna switch.
Oh, yes, I get to do this. Let's tilt this camera. Nifty little thing here.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Okay. So for Shavasana adjustments, we'll start at the feet.
Oh, oh yeah, at the feet. Go on and lay down. And then
We're gonna start at the feet.
this back and lay.
I kind of sat right in between, right in between her legs. Again, depending on your client, right? So again, in a huge group setting, this is always where I like to start with touching people.
Okay.
Unless people hate having their feet touched. It's a really good one because it's the least invasive into personal space. If I am in a big group class and I'm touching feet per se, then I would touch only feet, right? I wouldn't go from the feet necessarily to someone's face, right? Just as like a side note to be aware of. But for today, we're just exploring all of them. So what I'm gonna do is gently come into their space, making sure that they're present and aware. As in Shavasana, their eyes are probably closed, they're totally relaxed. I often will hover my hands over their feet before I touch them, right? Again, coming into that space like we did in the beginning. And then I might just lay my hands on top of their feet. Right there, you're gonna be able to bring some comfort just from touch. The client will begin to relax. Then I'll take my thumb and I will slide it maybe around the bottom, their ankle heel, and I might slide it into this little, this little wedge right at the top of the heel. Yeah. And then maybe I bring that in closer to the arch a little bit. That'll be like a little soft space there. And I just put my thumb in it. I don't push really hard. Again, this is just to help our client relax. And then maybe you want to move that thumb around. I like to do like 3 little circles. And then I like to slide my thumb right into the middle of the bottom of the foot, where all the pyramids come together. And then I might hold it there for a breath. And then do those 3 little circles. And I hold it for a breath. And I slide the thumb up to the bottom of the big toe. I hold it there for a breath. And then do 3 little circles. And then, you can do any kind of foot massage that you would like to, but that's generally the technique that I use. Again, then releasing very gently and letting that go. It's often, as long as we're here, you can see like how they're balanced, if they've relaxed at all, remembering that corpse or Shavasana pose means that these legs, these toes are relaxed as much as possible. So you might notice a difference from there. And then coming up to the tops of someone's body. So walk around. And here for the shoulder press, I will take my hands again and just gently hover them over the shoulders. And then I might just put my hands on them. Yeah, resting the palm. Yeah, on the clavicle, the thumbs out, fingers out. Now, but oftentimes we don't need to push very much or use very much pressure at all, but instead keeping our hearts up, staying balanced into our core and our hips. And then if you wanted to give a gentle press down, maybe for a breath or two here. Again, riding the waves of the breath. You might even want to roll or bring the palms then to the tops of the shoulders and actually sort of pushing down towards the heels. Because as we know in Shavasana, oftentimes those shoulder blades are still up or the shoulders are up and the shoulder blades aren't like tucked underneath. This is another place where you could just give really some gentle little squeezes, massages on their arms. That's just really a soothing touch. From the shoulders then, I'll slide my fingers and I'll bring them to the backs of the neck. And I'm just using my hands, sort of like this, where I'm just using my fingers a little bit on the back of the neck. And I might ride my fingers up, like one finger at a time, up the neck, just to give a little lengthening from the base to from the tops of the shoulders, let me say it that way, from the tops of the shoulders up the neck to the base of the skull. And that's where the quote unquote adjustment is, because it's in the lengthening. Yeah. And I will use my middle fingers to rest on that ridge at the base of the skull and the back of the neck. And oftentimes, again, just putting your fingers there, just putting that middle finger and applying pressure feels awesome. And if the receiver's feeling awesome, you could always give a thumbs up. You don't have to say anything. And then we know that it's feeling good.
I'm gonna do it at the right spot.
Higher.
A little higher.
Just kind of right in. If you can see.
Right there.
Yeah. A little bit more.
Oh.
So this might be odd, but Jessi, can we have you sit up? To interrupt your Shavasana.
Okay.
But let's do it this way so that you can see what I'm using my hands, right? Try to stand and go crooked a little bit. There we go. So I'm using my hands this way. I don't know if you can see, and then let me see if it was underneath. Yeah, I would be using my fingers that come up right here.
Okay.
Right? So I kind of like wrap this way, and then I use these fingers right at this space up here. It's actually called your GB20, but there's like a ridge in here, right? Do you feel that ridge? And I'm just using my first finger and my thumb right here, but it's the same, and I'm holding her head. Yeah.
I think he
You
has
getting it?
back here. But I think I feel it. I guess I was afraid to put too much pressure on that area.
No, you know, the head is really an interesting thing because we have really thick, heavy heads. So most of us, like when we get into there, you be gentle, but can actually take a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And it gets so tight.
Yeah, it gets so tight in there.
All your eyeball muscles attached back there.
Okay. I found the right spot.
Oh.
Found it, yeah.
So are you squeezing it? Just squeezing it with your thumb, or are you just putting?
I was like this actually, right? I was just pulling it up when I'm holding her here. But this way, yeah, I would use my middle finger like this. See, I'm just like I'm scooping. So I'm like using this like scooping, like with my finger this way, and I'm like scooping. Yep, and then I just push my fingers and leave them in there. And that's the lengthening. And then from here, when I'm here, so say if I was here, and I would wrap my fingers sort of around the back of her ears. And this back of the ear right here is super nice to draw your fingers along as well. That really helps people relax. And you can go, you might do a couple like sweeps and then go really slow. Slow motion. And then since we're working on our friends today, you can always, rub their head a little bit. Oh. I don't think you can give too many head, neck, shoulder, or foot rubs. As long as there's not an aversion to that part of the body being touched, generally, we really like it. So I was just showing you standing up just to show you standing up. This is for demonstration purposes.
Okay.
Only.
Okay.
Right. Just so that you could see where my fingers were going, because it's really, I would have Jessi laying down.
Yeah.
I was just wanted to show you so that you can see that ridge and understand where we're getting the actual pressure points.
I think my legs were getting tired, but I opened them up.
Yeah.
My hero pose is not as long as yours.
Yeah, and adjusting your body. I often will sit like that when I give head massages.
Yeah.
Whatever's comfortable.
Yes. I think it's
head massages are the best.
Just leave Rob there.
Yeah. I guess we're always thinking of lines of movement in the body. So, in Shavasana, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to lengthen and relax the body.
Yes.
Right? So I'm trying to pull the head away from the shoulders and the shoulders away from the head. And relax the legs. And I'm not moving. We're not moving the body. Stella didn't move me or shake me. She just was kind of pressing, because just that touch is going to allow me to lengthen and relax.
Melinda, do you have any questions about or specific things that you wanted to ask about practicing? Is there something that you would love to practice? One-on-one time
For adjustments.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of times, what I see is like in the warrior poses, people, the alignment is not right on the warrior poses. So I was practicing that some this week. And so for warrior 2, making sure that your abdominal muscles are engaged and that your hip is tilted forward. And I guess your tailbone is kind of under. Is that right?
Yeah.
And making sure your body is balanced in the center and not leaning forward or backwards. I guess I'm fine. I don't have any specific questions. I think I take so many classes.
Well, let's just show an easy warrior 2 adjustment. It's different when standing balancing poses. We're not going to adjust. I'm not going to adjust them too much, but
Right.
So Stella's warrior 2, right?
Right.
I want to start at the legs. So my first one would be just to kind of help her. This needs to spiral. I'm just guiding, straighten and spiral it out so that she can get the outer side of her foot.
Okay.
Just not as a symbol, you know, I'm like, I start here. This was the first part. Just, okay, let's just strong, 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 and outer edge. Seal that down. Okay, she's good there, right? And now she's kind of leaning this way, right? So all I'm going to do is just, okay, bring it back. Oh, and she'll probably straighten that leg as I do that. So I'm just like, okay, there, oh, okay, there you go. And then, and I might just guide her lines. Right, and this is a big one. So I noticed just like sometimes honestly with the thigh, I should have done this. It should have just been like a tube. I don't need to grab her thigh. That's a little, but a peace finger kind of just a guiding this way.
Right.
I think is really helpful of like, okay, let's turn this on. And peace finger, this is a little safer than the whole hand grab.
Yes.
That's what all I would do. I would just start with the leg, you know, and then just little touches, right? That's it. Touches, just touch.
Okay.
Does that help, Melinda?
Yeah. The shoulder is a big thing, keeping the shoulder down.
And just a touch. You can't, you know, little, all you gotta do is touch it. And most people will just be like, oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the touching or the hands-on adjustments are so valuable, because you can tell someone to put their shoulders down 1,000,000 times and their shoulders are like, you've cued it, and then you just like go like this to them and their shoulders go down.
Yes, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Let's see what else. I think I'm okay. You know, it'd be nice when things go back in person, because then you can, you know, see a little better. I know the classes that I was teaching, you know, the main issue was the tightness of the people that I was working with, and not being able to stay in the poses long. And you know, like when I was doing the Sufi roll, and being able to change leg position, that was a really hard for someone to stay in the easy seated. But I think next time I'm just going to have them put their feet together in Padasana. Yeah.
Padasana?
Yes.
Butterfly.
The butterfly pose.
Or you could put them in like one leg out, one knee bent, one leg out.
That's what Stella was showing me the other day.
Yeah.
With that also, it makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do a lot of I notice cueing, keeping the heart open, and not bending into the rolls. So
I'm sorry.
Be gone.
That was too noisy.
I had a spy, huh? Back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I mean, you know, I think at this point it's just a matter of experience, getting a lot more experience.
Yeah, and if you know, and just keep practicing, you know, be like, Rob, and after our class, when we take 9:30 class, can I give you a Shavasana adjustment? I'm pretty sure he's gonna say yes.
Oh, I guarantee. Yes.
Right? Because you're already there, and you know, and when Shavasana hits in class, you get up and you do your thing. It's just the more you touch bodies, the more, you know, and just know your entrance and your exit. You just, what's your intention? Ground in, and you're good.
Yes. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll practice with him. He's easy.
Yeah, and that's the best way. Start with people that are super comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? More like just the people you're really comfortable. That's where you start.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
Awesome. It's totally how I learned. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours getting together with my yoga friends, practicing giving adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll practice with him. He's easy.
Yep, just get a whole family ready for it. The
Yeah.
dog's ready, the daughter's in the background. Yeah, everybody's ready.
It's like the challenge today when teaching people at home their distractions.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you came today.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Melinda.
You guys didn't cancel it.
Well,
We're
was
here.
a diversion for me.
good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Okay, be well. Take care.
All right.
Melinda.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we're going up like a